Good morning, Halifax, or afternoon or evening, whenever you are watching this. It is Saturday, December 12th. December 12th, wow, 12 days of Christmas. Anyway, this is my second attempt at walking historic properties and the Halifax waterfront during the day. It is a brisk, I would say 4 degrees Celsius with a wind chill of -2 degrees Celsius. So it's a bit nippy out today. I've already had 2 cups of coffee. And I've, gotten rid of those, hopefully, before I came out. I know, too much information. That's me. Anyway, this is historic properties. These are old warehousing buildings from the late 1700s, early 1800s. I see those do have Christmas lights on it. It's hard to tell in the daytime. Normally at nighttime, if you look up, there is a grid pattern of lights, and it is spectacular. Now, no trip to Halifax and the waterfront isn't complete without going to the lower deck. That's a great place to start off your evening out for a draft and beer and everything else. But because of the COVID restrictions right now, you can't do that. This is where we put the people that don't wear masks. They go into the stocks. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, but yes, we do have stocks here. It's a big touristy thing. And this is not a cannon. It is a buoy. Some people call it buoys. So we're coming up to Salty's restaurant. I gotta watch where I'm walking because the ground is a little uneven. Now, Salty's is a popular destination for the tourists. Not too many locals go there. It's a bit on the pricey side, but there is the Halifax Harbourfront Marriott Hotel. We have the Historic Properties Mall. Actually, the building that I was walking down and it was on my right, that was the shopping mall that is in there. It's just filled with craft stores, like local artisans that make things, and bookstores that are selling topics on the local environment here. The water is a little choppy today. It's the first sunny day that I've actually gotten out to get back down here. That's looking over towards the Dartmouth side. And that would be part of the downtown core for Dartmouth. They're just starting to revitalize Dartmouth. It's more of a residential city than it is a business city like Halifax. Way across the way you'll see a Navy ship, and that is over in Woodside, and there used to be an old Imperial oil refinery there, and there is still tankers. I'm just trying to talk over the copyrighted music. So when I was here a couple weeks ago at night, it was raining. I kind of slipped a few times, but I didn't, thank goodness. And came back the next day to film, did my whole thing, and did it film? No. Why? Well, your lovely hostess is blonde, and I totally had a blonde moment. So I will chalk it up to that. I am not ashamed to say that I'm blonde, and I do have dumb moments, but I don't think that has anything really to do with hair color, but people assume it, so I just go along with it. So, not sure why there's still public seating on the waterfront, but there is. Hear that noise? That is the Viola Desmond. That's one of our ferry boats that crosses the harbor from Dartmouth to Halifax, usually every 15 minutes. That's where I just came from. That is Purdy's Wharf, those two glass towers. They are built right over the water. They were built in 1987. They're not very tall. They're probably about, I don't know, 20, maybe 20 stories. I think everybody is inside of the ferry. It is quite cool today. Now, if anybody watches the Toronto walking videos, I subscribe to about 4 of them. Every so often they're down at the base of, I think it's Queen's Quay in Spadina. You will see an old Halifax ferry, the Dartmouth 3. Don't know what happened to the other 2. That is there. Not sure what they're going to be using it for, if it's going to be going back and forth between the city to the islands. Not sure. All I know is that it took quite the long journey to go from Halifax to Toronto by going up along the coast of the province into the Northumberland Strait, where it's protected between Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island, into the Gulf of St. Lawrence, to the St. Lawrence Seaway, all the way down to Lake Ontario. I know that there is a bridge in Toronto that just was built down here in Dartmouth. I think it's going to be over by Tommy Thompson Park. I'm not too sure. Not familiar with that part of the geography of the city, of that area. But that was built here, and it took maybe about 2 weeks to get to Toronto. So it was made in Nova Scotia by Nova Scotia workers for the city of Toronto. All right. For some reason, I like this bull. He just looks happy. He doesn't look scary. He just looks happy. And I see somebody put some grass down by his hoof. It's cute. So this used to be the former Stainer's Wharf. It was a live music venue down here. It was really good. And I'm kind of excited to see a Spanish tapas bar, restaurant. Something we don't usually get around here. This is the Nova Scotia crystal. I have my ornaments on display today in my home that I have from here. They were gifted to me because Bevy's too poor to afford an ornament from this place. But they're absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to sneak down the littlest alleyway I know. It's not really creepy. There's not really many sketchy areas in the city of Halifax proper. Everybody jokes around about certain neighborhoods, but not really, in my opinion. People say that I live in a sketchy area when I tell them that I'm in the North End, and they're like, oh no. But you know what? My neighborhood is very eclectic. It's very funky. And it's very diverse, multicultural, and we even let the hipsters in. I know, hipsters. I'm gonna see if we can go down that way. This is Cable Wharf. This is like a staple on the waterfront. There is a restaurant and a gift shop, and you can book tours for many of the boats that go into the harbor that they own. They have the harbor hopper, which is an amphibious type of, I don't know, watercraft, landcraft.
Yeah, I love that.
Now, Queen's Mark is still being built. This is the building I really don't like. It's just, it doesn't gel with the area because it's so historic down here, and then you get this glass and concrete thing. That's what I'm gonna call it. I don't like it. But when they were doing the fill, yeah, so you could probably hear my footprints. I'm not a stealthy ninja walker as I'd like to be, but I'm walking on wood. But as I'm coming down, for approximately, I want to say like almost 3 years while they were doing all the fill, they had a sea bridge. And this is the area that it was in. So now they turned it into a place where you can go over to George's Island, which is that little itty bitty island. Well, it's not really itty bitty. Well, yeah, it is. But, sorry for the sun glare. But directly across from here, where the Acadia ship is, that's that white one, that was the sea bridge from here to over there. And, man, it was fun. You would, because it floated, literally, it was floating on the water. And that tested your sea legs. So it was just fun. You'd see people for the first like quarter of the sea bridge wobbling and not used to it, and then by the end of the sea bridge, which isn't very long, they were just like, really, it's over with? I just got used to walking it. So that is another shot of Queen's Mark. I got the sun blaring in my eyes. There's a restaurant there, so that's one of the exhaust fans for the kitchen. They are doing takeout and delivery. I think it's on Uber or Skip. I'm trying not to use those during the pandemic. I did back in the spring, and then realized I wasn't really contributing to the local businesses around here, so we switched that up pretty quick. Okay, I'm gonna see. Oh, that didn't work. Wrong one. There's Citadel Hill way up there, and the old clock tower, flanked by Halifax's versions of skyscrapers, which we don't really have. Let's go back to that wide shot. That's what I'm talking about. Take my glove off because I suck at doing this. Okay, I had to take my glove off because my glove decided, I'm putting it back on with my mouth, sorry. My glove decided to be an ass. Ooh, okay, so, okay, not my favorite building, but I'm gonna see if you guys can see this. Now, oh, focus, not on the fence. Not on the fence. See that? It says Peace by Chocolate. A Syrian family within the last like 7 years came to Nova Scotia. They're up in Antigonish. Nothing really up in Antigonish besides Peace by Chocolate and St. Francis Xavier University. If you don't know what St. FX is, I'm sure if you're a Canadian, actually even some Americans, you may have seen X rings. These gold rings with a black X on it. I swear it's not a cult. They say it is, but it's not. It's a university ring. That's basically what's in Antigonish. But that's where they are, and they've been making chocolate. The patriarch of the family was a chocolatier in Syria and brought his skill and craft to his adopted home, and he was just gained Canadian citizenship a month and a half ago down at Pier 21. So yay! I'm gonna be one of these pedestrians. I'm walking in the bike lane because there's no bikes coming. And there's no bikes coming from behind. I feel like I'm walking right into the sun. My apologies. You'd think after 2 cups of coffee I'd learn how to talk. Now, that Strange Adventures comic book store. It's in a really old 17th century building. As is McKelvey's, which is right beside it. And just up from there is a restaurant, bar, pub called the Old Triangle. Now, the Old Triangle, when it was first coming into play, was started by Denny Doherty. And if that sounds familiar to classic rock, pop from the 60s to you, it's the same one. Denny Doherty was 1/4 of the Mamas and the Papas. He, along with John Phillips, Cass Elliot, and Michelle Phillips. So he is a Halifax native. And I do believe his brother has his shares now that Denny passed away about a decade ago. I'm going past more construction for the ugly monstrosity. People have already moved in to that place. Because it's still under construction, they have reduced rents. But their leases are only temporary until construction is finished. It's a weird concept, but they would have to either renew it at full price or probably move. So, this is the Acadia. Now, in my nighttime video, this was all lit up with snowflakes for the Evergreen Festival. I'm gonna try doing my stealthy ninja walking on a wooden wharf. Now, these old boat shops are all part of the Maritime Museum of the Atlantic. Obviously, because of COVID, the museum is closed. I have mentioned it before, I think, but if not, I'm gonna mention it again, that there are artifacts from the Titanic that are housed in there. Things that washed up along Nova Scotia's coast and some parts of Newfoundland. And they are housed at the museum. And the grand staircase that you see in the movie with Rose coming up, and you see Jack looking up at her and she's in her pretty sparkly evening gown, that was based on a photograph and bits of that staircase that is in the museum. Now, I'm on the wharf where the sea bridge ended, but it's also a place where a lot of our soldiers for both World Wars and the Korean War would have left the city when they were being deployed to go fight. So, you can kind of see where the sea bridge directly across is where I was about 7 minutes ago, I'm guesstimating. Sorry about that wind. I have mic muffs on there now, the wind muffs. They are glued down, baby, glued down. And not having anything that happened in Dartmouth Crossing last week. Dartmouth Crossing in relation to the waterfront is about 3 to 4 kilometers that direction. Right there, see? Yes, sparkly gloves. I am a girl. I like sparkles. Just not a shoe person. I said that in my last one. There we go. See some of the buildings that are behind. Ooh, little wind. Some anchors and their chains. Now this ship is always closed in the wintertime. It's not just due to COVID, it's just we don't get the tourist season in winter. And I like it that way. I like the waterfront when it's not overly busy with people. A good amount of people I like, but when it's too saturated with people, I tend to avoid it down here. So it's very rare that I'll be down here in the summer, but because I'm doing YouTube videos and because I love you guys, I really do, I will bring my butt down here. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a sea kayaker out there. I would not want to be that person if they fell. You know, well, you don't fall out of a kayak, you roll. Because that harbor is connected to the North Atlantic, and I'm pretty sure if that person, if they weren't in a dry suit, would probably freeze their nads off. Now this is like the cutest little benches ever. They're like fish. The museum is very kid friendly. You can go in there and do little digs and look for things and rocks and seashells. And you can stick your hands into aquariums. Now, how come they didn't have this built when I was a kid? There's no children around, so I feel confident doing that. Yeah. Oh, there's a map. They don't really make it seem like there's it looks like there's a lot more, but not really. Okay. So, the video. There's the wave. Remember when I was talking about how people always climb up it? And then slide down. That's all rubberized where the little girls are coming down. I think it's every kid's rite of passage when they come to the waterfront. You gotta climb up to the top, look around for a bit, then slide your butt down. Now, directly ahead of us is an area of the waterfront called the Salt Yard. It's like as if the waterfront could have a food court. It would, and a lot of it, besides smokes and beaver tails, everything else is basically local fare. Smokes and beaver tails are obviously chains. More trees. A victim of COVID is the Stubborn Goat Beer Garden. We have two big beer gardens here in the city. We have this one here on the waterfront and one up at Spring Garden and South Park Street, which is the Stillwell Beer Garden. It's just a shame that because of our restrictions with restaurants and places like that, that you cannot go in. And all right, well, I'm gonna have to backtrack because this is all fenced off, and the last time I came through here, I could get through here and walk along, but that is not the case. Well, that just kind of blows. Oh, speaking of blowing, there's the flag. It kind of reminds me of those ones that you see outside of the superstores. Down here they're superstores. I know in other parts of the country they're probably Loblaws, but we still call them superstores down here. So I am going to have to walk through the Salt Yard, which is fine, but they're blaring Christmas music. And you know those YouTube gods, they don't like copyright of Christmas songs. So, Bevy's gonna have to do a little bit more chitty chat. Oh, another interesting fact where the Stubborn Goat was the home of the G7 summit in 1995, I believe, when it came to Halifax. Now, I wasn't living here at the time. I was living it up in the big city of Toronto, doing what young early 20-somethings, I gotta talk loud, I was up there having a good old time partying and hanging around Richmond Street when that was a very popular place for the nightclubs. Now it's condo heaven. And I spent many nights and stuff on Church and Wellesley in the Village because as a hairdresser, or former hairdresser, that was my hangout. I still can't get past here. Okay, keep talking because this music is really loud. Holy moly, people. But it smells really good with all the spruce and pine boughs. If you could smell, yes, it would be amazing. Okay. Well, this is interesting. It's a little place called Sea Turtle, but they have jellyfish. Okay, that sucks, that big chunk of the waterfront I can't walk on. I'm going to use this just to get a horizon line. There we go. Oh, too much, too much. This is Salter Street. It only goes up to Barrington. So, the Tunnel of Hope, which is filled with all these twinkly lights, is just being worked on. So I think they have to replace some of the twinkles. Oh, they're putting in more stuff. Okay. Cool, cool. So I'm running into now more people as I walk. As you can tell, it is low tide. And this is all reclaimed. We will be going past these. That's the building I want to live in. I gotta win the lotto. It's called the Alexander. Hashtag goals. I like high rises. Weird thing, I don't like heights, but once I'm up there, I'm fine. It's just the getting to them. That sandy area there is a place in the summertime where people can go and play beach volleyball on the waterfront. Go figure. It will be the future site of the brand new Art Gallery of Nova Scotia that is being relocated from Hollis Street to down here, but it means the parking lot's going and a new building is going up. See? Progress in Halifax. Watch out, big cities. We're coming to get ya. Another local candy store. And rum runners. Okay, I just stepped on a loose brick.
He, for some time, has thought that that's no big deal. Then sitting in bed, I would not love that.
Little parkette. It's a little theater, actually. A little tiny outdoor amphitheater. You can look around. Pre-COVID days, it wouldn't be uncommon to see like little string quartets or jazz bands and even barbershop quartets performing for the people walking the waterfront. And Sea Smoke can't use their patio anymore. This is a relic from the past, an actual phone booth, and its receiver is still attached. And well, it was an ATM, but right now it's taken out. There's Bishop's Landing. It's just restaurants, hair salons, jewelry stores. It's the Christmas tree that was with the blue and the white lights. Okay, so the last time I came down here during the daytime, the next day after I did the rainy one, there's the bicycle thief's bicycle tree. I had walked past the canoe and Santa wasn't in it. So, there's that is not how Santa comes to Nova Scotia, even though that would be kind of neat. If he was going to come in on a boat, I can see it being on a fishing boat. Let's get a good look at the drunken street lights. It is a Saturday morning. Well, it's almost noon. They're still on their bender, you can tell. So you can normally see the tide line. So it is quite low right now. The bicycle thief. Switch hands. There. Just had to do a switch off with from my right to the left. I'm not a lefty or a southpaw or anything by that means, but I just need to give my elbow a rest on my right hand. I figured the amount of people that are down here, they're probably going or coming from the Halifax Seaport Farmers Market, which is down here. We will be going outside of it and passing by. Switch back to the right. Sorry for the wobbles. So this building straight ahead, with the sun glaring off of it, is the home of Nova Scotia Power, Emera, which is its parent company, and the Discovery Center, which is a really cool place if you're a kiddo. Actually, they have these stairs because I was there for a staff party one time, for a corporate staff party. They have stairs there that every time you step on it makes music. It's like big piano keys. I thought it was pretty cool. I played on them. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big kid at heart. They have like a little area here outlined with pergolas. They're all lit up normally. In the summertime, it is not uncommon, I should say, to see people out on this section of the wharf swing dancing. I know, swing dancing. I tried it once, almost killed myself, never to do it again. I have pretty good rhythm, just not for that. This building up here, that brick building, that is the headquarters for the Port of Halifax. Those are the people that know everything that is in the harbor at any given time. If there's ships coming or going, when they're scheduled, it's them. That's where the harbor master, I think, is. I'm gonna see. That is George's Island. It is a National Historic Park. They did open it up this summer for people to do tours of it. It is a fort, and there's lots of tunnels underground. Rumored to have tunnels that go from the island back over to the mainland here. Not sure how credible that is. I haven't been over there because it was always filling up because of COVID. Limited amount of people on the island at one time, so I didn't get a chance to go. It's a place that's not for the faint-hearted if you don't like snakes, because there are garter snakes on the island and grass snakes. Really harmless. They're lucky if they grow to 2 feet long, but if you're not used to seeing them, it kind of is a little bit freaky. So now we're entering from the waterfront into the Seaport of the Halifax Port Authority. There's some new sculptures down here. Gotta keep talking. I hear Christmas music. Now, we are a military town and we are a ship, like a seafaring city as well. One of the most notable Haligonians who became a success story for shipping was this gentleman. That is my buddy Sam. Old Sammy Boy started his shipping empire out of Halifax. Now it's based out of the UK. Let's get a better view. All right. I wonder if he gets sick of listening to the Christmas music. So, there's... Whoa, whoa, whoa. switching hands. Ooh, let's get that right. And I think there's the backside of the Weston, Nova Scotia. People looking at Christmas wreaths. Some with holly and ivy, some with spruce and pine. So this is the Halifax Seaport Farmers Market. Saturdays are its busiest days. It's probably going to be open for another hour or two. They did open this morning at 6 a.m. We have vendors that come from all over the province, from as far away as Yarmouth, which is about 3 to 4 hours away in the South Shore, to the North Shore around Pictou and Antigonish, going towards even Canso and Guysborough County on the eastern shore. The Annapolis Valley is known for its apples. That's Garrison Brewing, one of our local microbreweries here in the city. The building that it's housed in is what used to be for CN Rail. All this that I'm walking on used to be train tracks. Used to be part of the old rail yard that would lead out to the all the different piers. Each year where I'm walking next to the farmers market are all the piers where cruise ships come in. So we do get a lot of tourism from the cruise ships that come up. There is one of the flagship stores for East Coast Lifestyle. Funny story, Alex McLean, who started this, was going to Acadia University, taking his business degree, and they had to come up with an idea of something that could be a successful business. And I believe his father invested $100, and he would silkscreen sweaters or sweatshirts and t-shirts. And 10 years later, it is a Nova Scotia success story with locations in all 4 Atlantic provinces. You'll see the anchor on a lot of hoodies around the city on people. His biggest compliment was when Ed Sheeran wore an East Coast Lifestyle hoodie in concert one time. And I just can't think of the concert or where it was located. So this whole building was for the rails, for the railroad company, for CN. It's a vintage old train. Not sure why Buddy had to bang a gong. Ooh, reminds me of a song from the 80s. Robert Palmer. So this is a train. It is it's not a replica, it's an actual vintage rail car showing how the new Canadians left Halifax once they got here and were processed and went on to other parts of Canada. Halifax is one of two major immigration centers, and I only found this out because I was looking for my great-grandfather's records from when he came over to Canada from Jersey in the Channel Islands back in 1900. I knew the ship's name that he was on and all that, but it didn't come to Halifax. It ended up going to Quebec City. They found that out for me. But this is Pier 21. So anybody coming into Canada up until that fabulous year of 1974, you had to go through here. The closest thing I could think of for Americans to reference, this was our version of Ellis Island, but maybe about 1/10 of the size. But it is actually quite large on the inside when you go in. Obviously, it's closed as being a museum. Wow, this video is like 52 minutes long. Not bad, and I still kept it recording. So I think I will end my video here. I started at the first of the of historic properties, and I'll bring you down to the Seaport. The cranes off in the distance are one of two container terminals that are here in the city that receive goods or ship out goods to all parts of the world. Out of the 5 cranes, 2 of them are down, which means there is a ship in dock. The other day we had one ship that came in. It was a CGM CMA. I know it probably doesn't mean much to you guys, but hey, I used to work there, and I used to work on the not work on the ships, but work with the ships and planning them. It's kind of like playing Tetris with containers on a computer. It's a lot harder than it sounds. Anyway, we had one that was 15,648 TEUs. That's a big ship. That was the biggest one that ever called Halifax. That called to the Port of Halifax. Okay, I'm geeking out here. Anyway, I am going to end this and dispose of some coffee that is in my body. I'm trying to say that politely. I have to pee. And I will meet up with you later on today. I'm going to grab a little bit of a bite. My cereal did not really... Well, it's lunchtime, so I gotta eat something. And I'm gonna see if I can get another video cranked out. And then I have to, oh God, do the mall, because I have to get Christmas presents. No, I'm gonna go to, we have one of the malls here that has a couple local shops inside of it, so I will do that. And I'm gonna go up onto Spring Garden Road later, pop into a couple stores there, and hopefully by the end of today, I will have it all finished. And then I just have to wrap it, and I usually do that Christmas Eve because I'm lazy. Anyway, I thank you for watching. I know I keep looking at Pier 21. I want to thank you for watching and putting up with me for almost an hour. I know I usually try to save filming for weekends just because I work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. By the time I get out, it's dark, and I'm hungry and cranky. And usually never in the mood to film. Oh, that building over there is has studios in it, so they do productions down here as well. Anyway, I'm going to do that. So please hit that like and subscribe button. Tell all your friends and family about this lovely I am. I am a lovely person. I am a lovely East Coast girl who is making these videos. Normally I have my son with me. He's at his dad's this weekend, so I'm flying solo, which is really weird because usually if I need something out of my backpack, he's the one who gets it for me. Enough rambling, Bev. Shut the F up now. All right, let's get going. So be sure to tell everybody, hit that like and subscribe, and I